Welcome to Investors Insight. The topic this week is moment of truth. Guys, a lot going on this week. The week is finally here where the Fed is expected to cut rates, even though we have a strong economy. So the question is, are they going to cut 0.5% or 0.25%? But it's very clear they will cut. If you look at Chairman Powell's commentary the past few weeks, he has highlighted the weakness and then kind of downplayed the strong data. So speaking of data, talk about that.
Yeah, on the heels of the Fed cutting rates for the first time since 2008, really, truly the backbone of our economy is the consumer. As you said in the past, Bobby, the consumer spending makes up 70% of our economy. We got a big boost in both consumer spending and personal income for the second quarter. So this week, we have a big week of reports coming out. We have personal income, consumer spending, consumer confidence index all coming out on Tuesday. And then on Friday, we have consumer sentiment index. So it's really important to see if this trend of a strong consumer can continue.
Yeah. Well, and it's like Adam was saying, that consumer in that second quarter pretty much saved us because the business expense and spending on CapEx, capital expenditures, is really off from the first quarter. And the reason for that is, the guys and I were talking about that this morning, this stuff we've had with China is almost a year old now. That pretty much started picking up right at the end of third quarter last year. So if you're a company in the United States, if you're not hiring people, you can really spend it one of four ways: software, research and development, you can buy a new building or expand a building, or you can buy equipment. At the end of 2018, the Chinese stuff really hadn't ground on us that much. So you found really a lot of corporations still spending fairly heavily in all four categories. Now, fast forward 6 or 7 months, they might be spending in one. Something like R&D or software just to keep a lead over a competitor. But where at the end of 2018, they were spending nicely, and that reflected in 4.4%, that type of expenditure up in the first quarter. In the second quarter, it was only 0.6%. So that really fell off, and the consumer helped us.
Yeah, we're seeing that.
Still be okay.
Seeing that in the GDP report that came out on Friday. That's where a lot of this data is from. We saw a better than expected 2.1% quarter-over-quarter annual growth rate. 2.9% of that 2.1% was the consumer. So that's where CapEx actually was a drag, negative 0.1% on the GDP growth. So if it wasn't for the consumer, our economy would have moved backwards. And so it's coming, we're seeing that in the data. And this week, big week in terms of this China negotiations, not high expectations like we had in May. We're not expecting a deal, but the parties that be, the powers that can make these decisions are meeting this week. Chinese and the U.S. Diplomats are getting together to discuss restarting those negotiations. So that'll be big news along with the Fed to see how this economy is going to grow going forward.
Yeah, the good news, the Fed, all the news around the Fed has taken the attention off the trade war talk the past few weeks.
Helpful.
And so after they make their decision on Wednesday, does the negative tension towards the trade war really pick up after Wednesday? So something we're watching carefully. Let us know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.